said hello like 95, literally 95 times before me. Like, why would he stutter in my face like that? Hey everyone! Okay, so one of the most popular posts that I've made on my Tumblr is about my meeting with BTS. So I figured it was a good post to have in video form. So this is how highlight went for me. A lot of the stuff I forgot, and then I remembered miraculously when I found it in my notes, because I put it in my notes so that I didn't forget it ever, which didn't work, but here we go. I'm gonna try to make this sweet, simple, and short, because honestly it probably like isn't even that amazing, but I had a fun time, honestly. Starting from the beginning. So I met my friend in Atlanta because we went to highlight in Atlanta. And I also knew a girl that was going from somewhere else. The weather sucked. It was like raining and gross outside. I was just wearing a skirt and a gray top. I'll insert a picture somewhere around there. And yeah, we stood in line for like 3 hours in the rain and we got our stuff. And by the time we got our wristband and t-shirt, it was already time to like be in the waiting room, but we didn't come like dressed, we just came to stand in line, you know? Did all that. The one thing I want to say that was kind of like sucky, almost cut. Our wait time versus our interaction time was very short. Our wait time was hella long and then our interaction time was like rushed, so that's one thing that was kind of boo-boo about the whole thing. To the good stuff. We waited in the waiting room for like an hour or two, and then like we walked into the venue like where the concert was gonna be held, and then we sat in chairs, like we were put in groups. And I was in the second group, and I think I was number 45. Every group had 50 people in it, and there was like 8 or 9 groups or something. It was a lot of groups, let me stop. It was a lot of groups. Our wait was honestly not that long. Our wait was like, I wasn't even prepared when they called our group. I was like, dang, we're already starting. They're getting this ball moving, right? So like they go, and after the first group goes, they call our group. The first group goes down to the pit where the concert's gonna be held. Like we're sitting up here waiting, and like the pit is like right here. So when they were done, they just circled around and went down there by the stage. We got in line and I was freaking out, dude. I was like holding my friend's backpack. I was like, girl, I don't know if I can do this. And then like I peeked. Don't peek, y'all. Do not peek. No matter what you do, you will not be ready for whoever the first member is sitting there. You're just not gonna expect it, right? So like I peeked like through the doorway or whatever, and J-Hope was there, and I was like, oh, that is J-Hope. His head is like so big and like flawless. And they like ushered our line in, and they're sitting at the table, and it was like J-Hope, and then Suga, and then Jimin, and then after Jimin was Rapmon, and then was Jin, and then V. I think it was a while ago, so I think that's how the lineup went. So their skin was like perfect. They had like the posters going, and you don't follow your poster, they just make you walk. J-Hope was like, hi, thank you, like with a big smile, and I was just like, oh, like hi, hi, hi. Literally the whole night all I said was hi. Like I'm so fake. I'm so fake. I talk so much trash and I'm so fake. I get to Suga. Suga was really nice. He said hi, thank you. I mean, you can say whatever you want to them. I just said hey because I didn't really have anything to say. And then next was Jimin, okay? And I got to Jimin. He was kind of like looking down, and I was just staring at him because y'all, he is so cute. Like he is so cute, and their hair looks really nice. So I was just like looking at Jimin, and he didn't look up yet. And so he looked down, and then he looked up, and then I was like looking, and I was like, I just smiled, and then he like looked down, and he's like, hey, and then like signed the poster real quick, and he's like, thank you, and then like passed my poster, and I was like, did he just stutter in my face, dude? Like what the heck is that about? Jin was kind of looking at my friend still, like in front of me, so I was like, let me just pass Jin, because I was a little scared of Jin, to be honest. My friend from a different highlight said that he was mean to her, and I just didn't want to be next in line. I didn't want to be the next victim, so I was like, let me skip Jin. And then was V, and V was looking all sad and spaced out, and the lady had to tell him to like hurry up and sign the posters. He was like signing, and then the chick behind me she came, but there was like no poster for me. Oh, I passed Ratmon. Ratmon had a bunch of posters in front of him that he didn't sign because he was talking to somebody, and he got like backed up. So by the time I got to Ratmon, I couldn't like, I didn't want to be like, hey, when he was like trying to sign all these posters, you know, and then he'd need more posters anyway. I didn't want to be a problem, so I passed him by. And I was a little sad. I was like, oh, Ratmon's the one I wanted to see most, but whatever. So I get to be, there's no poster by the time I got there because literally they're like rushing us. They're like, just keep walking, just keep walking, just keep walking. By the time I got to be, there was no poster. So I stood there. I was like, I paid all this money for, I better get a poster. Like, what? I need my poster. And so I was standing there and the lady was like, walk, what are you doing? I was like, I don't have a poster. She's like, oh, so she's like, okay. So then me and the girl behind me are standing there. And she's standing like directly in front of him. I'm standing off to the side of him. And he's like, oh, here, take this poster to her. Even though I needed a poster. And he was like, here, just take it. And she's like, she doesn't have a poster. And he's like, just take the poster, please. It's for you. She's like, okay, so she took the poster. And then the lady was like, why are you still standing there? I was like, I still don't have a poster. She's like, oh, here. So she taps V and she's like, here, give me that poster. And then he gave her he signs it and gives it to her, and then she gives it to me. I was just feeling full of regret, right? And so my other two friends are talking about what a good time they were having or whatever, and I was just like, well, I'm not feeling as excited as everybody else, so I'm just like, yeah. After that was the high touch. That was after the concert, I think. We were only like three, like if it was in rows, we'd probably be like in the third row. And we were like smack dab in the middle. They were giving their introductions, and to be honest, they looked like really tired, and Jin looked over it, and V also looked over it. He was like standing on stage, like to the left, to the far left, and I was like over here, and I was looking at all the members or whatever when they were giving their little introduction speeches. He was looking like all sad and down, but he was like zoning out on me, and then I like looked at him, and as soon as I looked at him, he like looked away. After that was the high touch. During the high touch is when I try to get myself together. So J-Hope was first, and then J-Hope was like, thank you, you know, and then I touched his hand. And then Jin, I don't know if he was feeling better or he was just happy that it was almost over, but he was like really happy. He's like, hey, thank you, or something, and I was like touching his hand. Ratmon, you guys, I was such a fake fan at first. I was so fake. When I hit Jin's hand, I knew Ratmon was coming up, so I was like, I am going to smile and be dazzling and beautiful, right? I was gonna say like happy Chuseok or something, like Merry Chuseok or something I was gonna say to him. Get up to him, I smiled big. I was like, I touched his hand, super big smile, and I was like, his like pupils were like so big, like they were like, and then his like mouth opened and he like didn't smile. He was just like, he was smiling at first, but then when I like was gonna say something, he was like, and I was like, I forgot what I was gonna say, so I think I just said thank you. Save me, I'm drowning. So then after that was Jungkook, and I felt bad because Jungkook is so hot, like he is so hot, and he was just like, and then he like got kind of like close to my face, and I had to like back up a little bit because he was just too close, and I think he like likes making people feel nervous to like get giddy or whatever, but like I was still like so blowed off of Ratmon, dude. And then V was there apparently. I had forgot V immediately after the fan sign, and then last was Jimin, and Jimin was just nice, and he said bye-bye, and I said yep, bye-bye. After that, we had photos. I was just spaced out after the high touch. I was like, are you serious? And then in my head I was like, did I just imagine that? Like none of the things I mentioned with Ratmon were like hella exaggerated. They were all like kind of like subtle. So I was like, maybe I just imagined that because I was so excited to see him or whatever. But then we do the photos and we get in line again, and we got really lucky because we were the first people in front of BTS. So we were like, if this was BTS, this is where I would be, right? So we come in and all the guys are kind of further down this time, and they were like, hey, so everyone's saying hey, right? And then certain people are walking really fast, so there's kind of like spaces and holes everywhere, but we were like some of the first people in line, and then everybody else behind us in our group was behind us. they tell us to go in, they say hi to us, and I'm like looking and I'm saying hey to everybody, but I'm also freaking out still. So I'm trying to catch up to my friend because she just like was walking so fast in front of me. I was like, hey, and then Ratmon was literally the only person looking at me, and I was like, hey, just to make sure that he was actually looking at me, you know, because like, who am I? So he's like, hey, and then I looked away and I looked around and then I looked at him again. He was still looking. He looked back, he looked at the ground and then he like looked back up and he's like kind of like looking like I don't know, my husband. He said, hey, how are you? He was like over there still and he asked me like, these are the doors, this is BTS right here. I was probably like right here when he was like, hey, and then he looked down all shy and he looked back up and he's like, how are you? And all I said was hey, because I was just shocked. So when I stood in front of him, I just turned around and I didn't move. I was just frozen in place because I was so shocked. And I was like, oh, did he just say hey to me? Like, did he ask me how I was doing? Like, I have been saying hey all night. Like, I didn't know how to say anything else but hello and thank you. Like, what is wrong with me? My heart exploded. I was done. My mind was like blank. I just couldn't believe it. There were so many people behind me, like, and I just wanted to disappear, honestly. And then my friend turned around and talked to Ratmon, and then I took the opportunity to turn around and stare at him. But then I got caught by Suga and Jungkook, so I turned back around. My other friend came, and Suga was like staring at her, like he was on this side of me, and then she was like up here. So he walked to this side, and he was like standing there. He was kind of like looking at her, and then me and her were talking back and forth, so they were kind of like watching us, and it was making me feel really awkward because like my friend next to me said, are you okay? And then I was like, this is so embarrassing, like I'm not talking. Suga was like, don't worry, like don't worry about it, because me and her were freaking out, and it was just a great time. And I really feel bad for everyone who didn't have a good time because TGM is just shitty. That's little bit of attention from Ratmon really made my night. This girl was like, Ratmon was staring at you and your friend's butt, and I was like, are you kidding me? Stare at my booty, Ratmon, stare at my booty. I didn't feel too great about the Jimin thing, honestly. Like, I was just like, did he just stutter in my face like that? He said hello like literally 95 times before me. Like, why would he stutter in my face? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more videos from me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I thank you so much for watching.